American football in Finland.
Maple League teams are back in action on Thursday with the Steelers versus the Wolverines. Friday is Crocodiles versus Roosters. Then the Royals and Butchers play on Saturday. Let's spend a little bit of time looking into each one of these matchups. First game we have Kuopio Steelers versus Helsinki Wolverines. I forgot to put their records on here, but I know the Steelers are 5-5, and Wolverines are 0-10. Last time they played was week 2. All these games are week 2 matchups. Steelers won 45-0. Anything you think interesting or could happen in this game? Like anything. It's always tough with the Wolverines.
No, I don't see anything happening. I mean, they probably just gonna bring out every single player in their playbook, try to get some of their stats up. Try to make some big plays, trying to see if they can get something going. But I don't see nothing changing much from the outcome of the game. How it's supposed to go. Wolverines is. I mean, I know they probably want to win a game, but the teams that they got left, it's going to be very, very, very slim. So nothing really super exciting to think about right now.
I I I agree with you. I think that this is the one shot. This is the one shot.
Yeah.
After the Steelers that we just seen play, that team, I think anybody on a good day could beat them. I'm not sure that the Wolverines are that anybody, but if they ever have a chance to win a game, this is it. I don't think that they can really score against the Steelers defense. But where the silver lining for the Wolverines would be is that the Steelers are bound to throw a pick or something. Like they'll mess around and give you the ball. And there's a chance.
Yeah.
This is a game where if I was the Wolverines, I go talk to Will Young and say, "Hey man, we'll need you on the other side of the ball today, buddy." Because you got to think like for the Wolverines, for them to score, somehow Will Young has to get the ball. But when he's on offense, you kind of know where he is and where he can go. But if he was on defense and happened upon the ball through interception, that could be an advantage to their liking. If I was the Wolverines, I would put Will Young at safety and say, "Go get the ball." Ambro gonna give it to you eventually. Just go get it. That's the best way this can happen in this game. That's the best thing that can happen about this game is that Will Young plays defense and gets an interception and scores a touchdown, and the Wolverines win 7-0. I called it. I might even pick the Wolverine. No, I'm not gonna pick the Wolverine. That's crazy. But in a crazy world, that's what would happen. That's all I can talk about for this game is that if something crazy happened, the Wolverines could win. But I do think talking about the implications of it is a little bit important. That if the Steelers win this game, that will be their 6th win. That'll put them in the playoffs. How crazy is that? I'm gonna look up the stats. Who have the Steelers beaten to get these 6 wins? Like, how did they get all these wins?
Well, they beat the Butchers early when Reasonover was there. So they
Ah,
beat the Butchers, UNC.
they beat the Roosters week 1. Then they beat
Yeah,
the Wolverines.
then UNC,
Then
then the
they
Butchers, I
beat
think.
UNC by a touchdown. Those are all reason over wins, right?
Yeah, it was all reasonable, all of them, except
Reason
for
over.
the recent one. They won one against who was it?
They beat the Royals without him,
Royals. Yeah, yeah,
and then they beat the Crusaders again with him when he came back. So 4 out of their 5 is with reason over on the squad. Okay, well, I mean, I really thought they won more without him. I thought they won like 2 without him, but no, that's the case. They need him. Well, they needed him. We should have talked about this earlier, but I want to talk about it now. The Steelers make the best case for reason over being the MVP because without reason over, this team goes from we think they're going to win the Maple Bowl to should they even be in the playoffs? Should they?
They shouldn't
And just a little
at
teaser,
this point.
just a little teaser for anybody listening. We've started compiling our our all Finland list, and I'm 100% sure somebody is going to vote for Reason Over to be on the list. Because it's the LeBron thing. Like when you take him off the team, you can see how good he really is. Like every team that LeBron's been on, whenever he leaves, that team becomes horrible, which tells you his value. And Lee Anthony is kind of having that on the Steelers. And I know if you're a Steelers fan or involved with the organization, you've got to be tired of us talking about him. Like you have to be, especially if you play defense.
They talked about him forever.
Because he got nothing to do with the defense, who is, I still think, playing very well this season and will most likely dominate the Wolverines. I think this defense can keep the Wolverines from scoring. That's how good the defense is. But the offense might put them in a situation where there's nothing they can do. Again, we're talking Steelers. But I guess that's it. I mean, I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of something on the game. But really, at this point, we just want to get in the playoffs. We're tired of talking about the Wolverines. We're not going to say anything else about them. And good luck to both teams.
If you're listening to my voice, you're now part of the AFF community. But don't be shy about supporting us. Head over to our website and order some AFF swag. Get a t-shirt for this beautiful summer weather, or a comfy hoodie you can rock all year long. And if you really want the drip, scoop up one of our limited edition snapback caps. Everything you need to represent the AFF community can be found on our website at AmericanFootballInFinland.com/merch.
Second game of the weekend will be the Crocodiles at 9-1 versus the Roosters, who are 5-5. The last time these two teams met again was week 2, and the Crocodiles came away with the win 21-14. Now, I just said the score, but just for people with short memory, it was 21-14, but it was never in doubt that the Crocs were going to win that game. Like, they dominated that game where they beat them 21-14. I don't want people thinking that, oh, well, they played them close then. No, it wasn't really close. So it wasn't. I just don't want people to think that. It was not close as the score dictates. As we've said about the Crocs, they like to get ahead and then chill and then just make sure they win the game. And that's what they did against the Roosters when they played them as well. In this game, storyline or question for one of these teams. What are you thinking?
Where they play?
It's in Senioki. It's home game for them.
I don't think Senioki will rest any of their players right now. Maybe the last week. So I think we'll see what we've seen this past week is a heavy dose of Christian Powell. Zach Whitehead is these next 2 weeks are going to be him. I think a lot more of him getting the ball out to the Sokolow brothers, trying to work on maybe their passing game because they're going to need the passing game a little more in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will focus and sell out on stopping Powell, but that passing game has to be able to sustain when they can't do much. Well, let's just say the Crocs go down.
That's another thing, though. Interesting thing when you bring up the passing game, and Powell is in the last game when they played against the Royals. If you noticed, again, we giving y'all free game. They start putting Powell in the slot. He had one catch, and they targeted him. I want to say one or two more times. I think that was one of those things that you're talking about. They started implementing parts of their offense that they want to have ready for the playoffs. That might even be why they went to that whole like wildcat thing for so long. They're like, hey, let's start practicing for the playoffs. And I agree with you 100%. I think in this game, that's what they have to do is they have to like sure up different looks and different personnel groupings to see how it's going to look. Because they might actually be playing the Roosters in the playoffs, right? From what we said.
Yeah. From how it can play out, they might have to play them. So yeah, it's another. I mean, don't say crucial game, but it's an important game. But Sanioki, I think, just it's hard to say because I mean they don't necessarily have to win these games. So do you continue to keep playing as if you're trying to make a playoff spot, or do you say, hey, we're gonna rest Powell a little bit. We're going to play him, but we're not going to give him 30 carries. We might just stick to no more than 15 and let Zach throw the ball or have some of those other guys that can run the ball, come on offense and try to maintain it, not to where it's a blowout or it's exposing them. But I just don't think you take this game as like, oh, Powell, you're playing the whole game, because obviously the more he plays, the more chance of him getting an injury, and that's something you don't want late in the season, because you want to go into the playoffs with your full team. So
I
it'll
I
be.
think I think me and you, we've seen enough that we've seen enough teams be like, just talk about them. Helsinki Roosters, Kuopio Steelers. We've seen enough of them where towards the end of the season they go, resting players, get ready for the playoffs. I do not believe the Crocodiles are that type of team. I believe the Crocodiles are a 9-0, a 9-1 team that believes they're 10-0, and it means something to them to finish this season undefeated. I really think, like, just from the vibe that I've gotten from players and people involved, and I mean, obviously the online community of people calling me a hater, the Crocodiles want this to be that Cinderella season for them. They want to be undefeated, win the championship, and have no one, especially me, I'm assuming, guys, but I think I'm on target here, especially me, have no one doubt that they're the best. They're going for undisputed. I think even in these games where teams have come back and we've seen them kind of close it at the end, it's been a situation they're in the back of their mind, they're thinking, if we lose this game, that opens the door that maybe we don't win the championship. Because we still got to remember, the Crocodiles are still the Crocodiles. They ain't ever won no Maple Bowl.
Yep.
They ain't ever won no Maple Bowl. Nobody on that squad know what it's like to win a Maple Bowl unless you play somewhere else. And most of them players haven't played elsewhere, like in the Maple League. So I think that even though the Roosters have more to gain by winning this game, I think Crocodiles come out, I say hopefully in this point, come out, put their foot on their throat. And if they need more motivation, I want to take you back to, I know it's too far. We're going back in history. And I mean, if you don't know the show, we've been here a while. Was it 2018 or 17 when the Roosters beat them like 80-0?
It might have been 18.
2018, maybe. I don't remember the year. But
because I think we played them in 17. Yeah, we didn't score 80 on them. I know that.
Yeah, well, there was a time when the Roosters beat the Crocodiles like 80-0. Crocodiles, even if y'all weren't on a team then, that's history. It ain't ever gonna go away. Only way you can make that go away is to do something more impressive today. So I haven't said this in a while, but I want a 50 burger. I say play no games. And I say that with no disrespect to the Roosters. I like the Roosters. I think the Roosters defense is good. I think their offense is amazing. But if I was the Crocodiles, we putting up 50. Leave no doubt that you're the team that needs to be beaten. Right now, it looks like the Roosters are the team everyone should be afraid of. If they're the team that you really just don't want to play. The Crocodiles, this is the only chance you're going to have before playoffs to, cement the fact that you're a level ahead of everyone else, not just in the playoffs. So I would say, I don't know why I came up with this, but Crocodiles, my question to you this week is, can you put up a 50 burger on the Roosters and create dominance going into the playoffs instead of, we won a game? I mean, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. I mean, it's up to you guys. Y'all are out there playing. But if I was a Crocodile and the Roosters were coming to town in my house before the playoffs, feeling like they done something, feeling themselves, I want to let them know, it's the swamp. Like, whose house is it? Let them know. I mean, they wouldn't do you any niceties if you went to Helsinki and they were the better team. So,
flag football in Finland. Yes, the annual AFF Turkey Bowl flag football tournament is back for the fourth consecutive year. This year's 5-on-5 flag football tournament will be held on November 11th at Mukula Sports Hall in Lahti. Men's and women's teams are invited to play in a fun and competitive environment, with bragging rights on the line. Registration is open until September 1st, so sign your squad up today. Registration can be completed at AmericanFootballInFinland.com/turkey-bowl.
Last game of the weekend, Royals 5-6 versus the Butchers, who are 8-3. Last time they played was week 2. The Royals won this game 35-14 early in the season. I know the Butchers are probably going to say, oh, well, we were missing. I think they didn't have Mickey J and Nico Paninen playing linebacker. I think both of those guys were missing. But we don't care about that. We're talking about week 13? Yeah, week 13. What is the storyline in this game for you?
Oh man, Butchers. I think the Butchers are gonna keep it rolling at this point. I think they'll probably come out, work on. I think they'll treat this like a playoff game. They have to treat it like a playoff game. They want to get in the rhythm. They're number 2 team, man. And they're playing like it. They've been playing like it probably for the last 7 games, pretty much. They gave up a lot of yards against the Roosters, but I'm not saying that they're not going to give up some. Now the good thing about the Butchers is they can score. They can put up points too. So they don't mind being in shootouts because they'll they can hang. So I think it's more them working on things that they need to get ready for playoff wise and just keeping that second seed. Other than that, I mean, we know what to expect from the Royals anyway.
What would you consider a key matchup in this one? Like, what do we need to watch?
Let's see if the Butchers make the adjustments that they need to make on defense to not give up so much. In certain positions on their defense, cornerback, which is liabilities at this point. They have 1 or 2 that can. I don't think
But
they're going to leave on their own.
Luckily, the
Zach
Royals
Wright
don't have a lot of receivers, right?
Yeah. So it'd be Zach Wright will probably be mirroring anywhere Alpha goes on that side and try to help out. That's really all they have to do is try to contain Alpha. And just the Butchers continue to do their thing on offense. The Royals passing defense isn't set up for what the Butchers have. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for them to match up against them. So I think that's where the Butchers will end up winning this game is just their receivers are just too good for the Royals DBs to have a chance. So I think if anything, the Butchers offense receivers against the Royals defense.
That's crazy because if the Butchers get up in this game, what the Royals going to do? Like they can't really their passing offense is not. They do have an advantage against the Butchers, but that Butchers offense is going to put up points. I don't think the Royals offense is going to put up points like that.
Do you love football? Do you enjoy the AFF podcast? Well, we need your help to keep this party going. If you think you can be an asset to our team, please contact us immediately about joining the AFF squad. Email all inquiries to AmericanFootballInFinland@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram.
So right now, our Pick'em rankings. Let's get into it. First of all, the OG panel, we all went 3-0. Just saying. We went 3-0. It is what it is.
Yep.
I think we're in the same. So we went 3-0. I think I didn't even update the thing, but I think everybody pretty much in the same spots as they've been in, pretty much. So first place, Spencer, 30-6. Second place, Coach Q, 29-7. Third place, Chris Green, 28-8. Fourth place, Finland Swami, 26-7. Fifth place, Coach Mike, 25-8. Sixth place, Perfect, 26-10. Seventh place, Alex Malchoy, 23-10. Eighth place, Jamal Clay, 18-12. Ninth place, Andy B, 18-9. Last place, Jabari Harris, 19-11. Picking winners in the Maple League game not easy, but we like to give it a shot. And since we already talked about the games, let's briefly go over the games and pick who we think is going to win or lose. Q, first game, Steelers or Wolverines. Who you got?
I'm going Wolverine. No, I'm just I'm going Scorpio on this one. Gotta be Scorpio. I just think even as bad as they looked, I think they can beat the Wolverines still.
Yeah,
their defense is just too good to let them lose this game anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's more of a pride thing. I think the Steelers defense is going to be good enough. that they'll get enough chances for the offense to put up some points and to win this game. In the second game, we got Crocodiles versus Roosters. Who you got?
Ooh, Crocodiles versus Roosters. I'm going to go Roosters.
What?
I'm going Roosters in this game. Um, the reason I'm going Roosters is because I feel like the Roosters have to win this game. I think they'll come out with everything. I think Kittner will be a focal point. I just think the Roosters. It's not hard to say this, but I think the Roosters see something in their sights at this point. Even though the defense isn't all as stout as I would like it to be against Powell, but I think their offense will make up for it. Really think their offense will make up for it. If Sinadinos cannot turn the ball over and get the ball out of his hands and into his playmakers' hands quick, I think if they go to quick game, they'll be all right. If they try to do 5-step drops, play actions, they're going to have a trouble because the Crocs D line can rush.
Yeah.
So I think if they make it a quick game to where they're getting the ball out real quick and getting the ball to Santu, getting the ball to Kittner, those other receivers, I think the Roosters can go up and then put the Crocs in a position that they're usually not in, and that's having to come back in games. So I think this game will be an interesting game. I don't think the Crocs will play all their starters the whole game, which is why I'm going Roosters, because I just don't think the Crocs shouldn't have to try to win this game. So I think the Roosters will win. I think they'll win because of that, because of the Crocs' place in the league right now. There's just no reason to play your guys all game. So I think the Roosters will win because of that. And I don't say default, but it is. They're just in a place to where it can help the Roosters if they don't play everybody, and the Roosters will take that help because they need to win. So I'm going Roosters.
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Crocodiles. And I don't have any good reason for going Crocodiles. Everything you said makes sense, but I am throwing sense and reason out the window. And I am saying the Crocodiles are going to come out, throw the kitchen sink at them. Powell is going to throw a pass in this game for a touchdown. They're going to run some double reverses. They're going to do an all-out, all-engaged Madden blitz at some point on defense. They're going to block a field goal. They're going to have 2 onside kicks, and they're going to get them back. What's the other person? Eric Irvin is going to block a punt, pick it up, and score a touchdown. Christian Powell might even catch a kickoff return and take it to the house. I believe Crocodile's going to put up a 50 burger because I'm asking them to, and it's going to be great. And the Roosters are going to just have to be on the other side of that ass whooping. That's what I believe in my heart of hearts, that the Crocodiles are going to come out here, put on a show, and put all doubt away from our minds that they're the best team heading into the playoffs. I wholeheartedly believe in it, and I know they're going to do it for me. So the last game we got is the Wausau Royals and the Porvoo Butchers. Who you got and why?
I'm going Porvoo Butchers because I think Porvoo is just too stout right now. The Royals don't have anything to play for, but they do. They're still going to come out and play hard. I think they're just going to have a matchup problems with the Porvoo's offense against their defense, and that alone is going to just be too much to carry for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Butchers are just much better than the Royals right now. I do like the Royals team at this point, but I think one thing that they just don't have is they don't have enough. And I think we've been saying that all season. Their offense, there's bright spots there. Defensively, they're young in the secondary, but they have potential in the middle and even up front. But as a whole, they just don't have enough to compete with a team of the caliber of the Butchers. I just don't think they're there yet. There's not enough. I mean, it doesn't matter if they win. So there's no real motivation to win the game outside of, your pride, which I don't know how much pride they taking in these games, because when they winning, I hear from everybody. But when they losing, I don't hear nothing. So it can't be taking that much pride that sometimes they care, sometimes they don't. So I think that they're just not going to get the win, and the Butchers are going to ride this into their playoff thing. And Butchers, if any Butchers fans are listening, I haven't called them the Dallas Cowboys lately, but I expect to do that closer to the playoffs, guys. So I'm going to let it ride today.
American football in Finland.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you ready to connect with passionate American football enthusiasts in Finland? Look no further than the American Football in Finland podcast. With over 1,000 dedicated subscribers and an impressive 20,000 downloads, your message can reach a captive audience eager for your products or services. Take advantage of over 10,000 monthly social media impressions to boost your brand's visibility. Imagine the impact of your message resonating with this engaged community. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to increase brand awareness, drive traffic, and grow your business. Contact us today to secure your exclusive ad spot on the American Football in Finland podcast. Get ready to score big with your target audience.